So we got a whole bunch of new videos about Dragon Age the Veilguard, specifically IGN shared their hands-on preview with us and they were super positive about it. Presumably more videos are on the way. I am especially excited about the character creator because they keep hyping it up as this great, expansive customization tool. And if you look at this preview video right here with this new long hairstyle, including physics, they might just be right. Of course, there are a lot of people joking that the reason why this game took 10 years to develop was so that we can have these hair physics, because as you know, hair physics in video games, they just don't mesh well. But at the same time, you look at the Qunari and their design in this game, and you just want to cry. And that's what makes this video so difficult to record right now, because I've told you before that I thought Dragon Age the Veilguard, no matter what happens, is going to be at least a decent game, a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, maybe a little more. Even in the worst case scenario, in my humble opinion. And when I said this, we only had that horrible announcement trailer and that 20-minute or so gameplay video. And now that we've seen even more footage about the game, I can confidently, and while being cautiously optimistic, say that this game looks like it's gonna be worth playing at least once. We're not gonna see another Anthem situation, no way. In fact, I can almost guarantee that this game is gonna be better than Mass Effect Andromeda. Despite all the problems like the aforementioned Qunari character design. In Dragon Age Origins, they were kinda looking like orcs. I mean, we only knew Sten. They weren't too different looking than humans. Then in Dragon Age 2, I thought they had an awesome looking design. And the same sort of continued with Dragon Age Inquisition, where we had the likes of Iron Bull. And Qunari in general, they just looked cool, man. And I very much wanted to play as a Qunari, just to hear the little differences in dialogue, the quips about your race and stuff. But I never really got to finish that game more than once all the way through because of its MMORPG-like nature. And the Veilguard has a similar problem. This game was almost going to be an MMORPG. I mean, look at this store right here. It looks very simplistic. It gives me flashbacks to Assassin's Creed Origins or Valhalla, which, by the way, I hate those systems. It reminds me more of a phone game than an MMORPG, and that's not what you want to see in a quality single-player experience. And the DNA of that is all over the UI, the gameplay, the levels, everything. Sure, they changed their mind, their route to the correct one, but this happened mid-development. And so because of that, this game will never reach its actual potential. There's no way. For that, they needed to have a clear vision from the get-go, and that's simply not the case here. I was watching Asmongold's reaction as he reacts to everything, and he's specifically adamant on cooking this game. And for most of his criticisms, I agree with him. I'm 100% on his side. Like, you look at this gameplay, it's nothing earth-shattering. You'll probably search around and find many third-person action RPG games that do combat way better than this. And he's right to cook this combat system, which looks okay, which looks playable in my humble opinion. These sections don't look like they're going to be a chore to play through. But leaving that aside, Asmongold goes on to say that because this gameplay looks very generic, uninspired, he even compares the footage of Warhammer 40k, the newest one, shows some combat from that game, and then goes right back to Dragon Age Veilguard, and admittedly it looks way worse when it comes to the animation, the gore, everything. I get that.
Age games.
Oh my god. Okay, alright, let's watch that one more time.
Control of them like in previous Dragon Age games.
Okay.
Previous Dragon Age games. Different companion.
But then he says that this game is gonna suck based on that, which makes me immediately call into question if he ever played any BioWare game. Ever. Specifically Dragon Age. Now, in my humble opinion, the combat of the first game, Dragon Age Origins, that's unbeatable for me. That's like the advanced version of the combat that we saw in Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. That's chef's kiss. I wish they continued to that direction. But even that gameplay is not perfect. It is satisfying, don't get me wrong, but I would wager 99% of the people who play Dragon Age Origins who go back to it, they go back to it because of the story, because of the writing, because of the characters. And Asmongold basically says that this doesn't matter. It does. It does, my friend. I mean, like, the best example I can give you outside of the Dragon Age series is The Witcher 3. Everybody craps on the combat of that game. They say it's horrible. And when you look at it, you got a light attack, a heavy attack, you got a sidestep, and then like a rolling dodge, couple of signs maybe, blocking, parrying, and that's the entirety of your combat system. Maybe I'm missing like the potions and stuff. It's very simplistic, and still, I don't think anybody plays The Witcher 3 simply because of its combat. Gameplay, obviously, is really important in a video game. The core fundamental gameplay for sure, but then Dragon's Dogma 2 would be 20 out of 10, the best game of all time, because that, it's so good. Battling with random small goblin NPCs is so satisfying in that game. The most mundane shit that you would not care about in any other game, so good. The problem is the game doesn't have a story, any characters, anything memorable, anything of substance when it comes to that department. And then it has some design issues and stuff. But the thing I'm saying is, you can't just look at this game, okay, the gameplay isn't perfect, so just throw it to the trash. No, it's the graphics, the soundtrack, the presentation, which, because of BioWare themselves or EA or whoever is in charge of marketing this game, has been horrible. I'll say that. They've not done themselves any favor when showcasing this game. IGN, the most hated entity in the entire universe, has done a better job of showcasing Dragon Age the Veilguard than the developers themselves, which is insane to me. I know I've asked this question before, but I will ask it till the day I die. What in the blue hell were you thinking with that announcement trailer? Oh my god, you're never gonna live that down. Even if you somehow make this game a success, even if you come out with Mass Effect 4, Dragon Age 20, people will always look back to this trailer and ask the question, what in the blue blazes were you thinking about when you released that trailer? So my main point is that he just has way too low of an expectation while judging the game only by its gameplay, when Dragon Age is simply not just about that. It's the amalgamation of everything. When I listen to the fact that they've now gotten rid of the hinterlands problem with the MMORPG type fetch quests, that was absolutely horrible, horrendous decision, ruined Inquisition forever. They've made smaller areas that are more handcrafted and easier to explore instead of this needlessly big open world where there's no life in many of its corners, there's nothing to do, it's just for show, and it makes you just walk 10 minutes longer instead of you could be done with it in a minute. That is an absolute positive for me. And it makes me really hopeful for Mass Effect 4, for a potential new Dragon Age game, because this is the exact right direction that they should be heading towards. And for Dragon Age Veilguard itself, the fact that they focused on Solus so much that we're gonna see him unlike Corypheus in the last game means potentially we're gonna have a villain that we can actually emotionally invest into, that we can actually care about. They've seemingly tried to make your choices matter more, but come on, it's a BioWare game. They're gonna say, he will remember this, he'll like that, he disapproves. It's probably only going to affect the cutscenes only so much. I'm not even expecting anything close to Baldur's Gate 3. For any consequences to your choices. And the fact that the IGN reviewer, or the person who previewed the game, said that rubbed me the wrong way anyways. Like, you played the game for 2 days. You have not finished the entire thing, so how are you saying that, oh, we're gonna have so many other choices that's gonna matter so much? But that's IGN again. They're being paid. They wanna be in the good graces of the developers, obviously, so they can keep getting these early reviews and everything, all the advantages in the industry. But that's straight BS. The only way we'll know if these decisions are actually impactful and if they'll matter is when the game comes out and everybody can play and see the ending. So Dragon Age Veilguard is a real mixed bag. I'm expecting a decent game that's gonna be fun to play, at least worth experiencing once. Just like Dragon Age 2, a lot of people like to crap on that game, but it definitely had something. Some memorable moments. It was definitely worth playing. Exactly the same as Dragon Age Inquisition. It had a lot of problems, don't even get me started, but once that game hit, it really hit with its writing, with its story moments. And from what I've heard and seen so far, the world building, the way the characters talk, I truly believe there's potential for this game to cook a little bit as well when it comes to its story and the characters, which is, again, by far the most important thing in any BioWare game. Legit BioWare game, by the way. Let me make that distinction. But hey, I could be completely wrong. That's why I'm cautiously optimistic about this game. But at the end of the day, no matter what happens, I am pretty certain that Dragon Age the Veilguard will be better than you're expecting. But again, that's just me.